Welcome to the General's Gentleman.
In RTS games, there's going to be a lot of different units. To keep the game compelling, controlling each unit needs to feel unique and nuanced. Designing units around how they feel to the player and ensuring unit variation should be a priority in RTS games, else it'll seem bland and fail to engage players. Each unit type should be assigned different properties that determine how players control them. Motorbikes would be fast but weak and unable to reverse or turn on the spot. Infantry would be small and numerous, leaving them vulnerable to area of effect, whilst air units might need to rearm from an airfield. Then we should give our units additional utility. Tanks could crush infantry, air units could have bonus sight range for scouting, infantry could capture structures, and motorbikes could be too fast for certain projectiles. When different unit types require different types of micro, it keeps the player on edge and makes an RTS game compelling. Company of Heroes is so fun to play because it varies from charging hordes of conscripts to cloaking sniper teams and flanking with tank destroyers. Once unit types are defined, individual units need to be distinguishable from each other. Since RTS games have multiple factions, there's generally going to be units that perform the same role or a similar function. Units can be distinguishable in various ways, such as quirks, abilities, additional utility, or just general modifications to the stats, as long as it works in with the game's mechanics to provide a different experience. Zerglings feel so different to Zealots because Zerglings are all about surrounding your opponent to prevent kiting, which works well with the pacing and the choke point-centric map design of StarCraft. Riflemen and Volksgrenadiers are distinct because of their ranges of effectiveness, which becomes complex when it ties into Company of Heroes' mechanics of cover and flanking. The mechanics of the game need to blend with the characteristics and quirks of the units. Weaker rear armor is an integral part of Company of Heroes, but it wouldn't really make sense for a Terran siege tank or an Ultralisk. The scale and unit lethality found in StarCraft would make it pointless. Micro techniques should be a reflection of the unit's aesthetics and artistic design. You would expect a laser tank to control differently than a flame tank. In Command & Conquer Generals, a Gatling tank can attack the ground for a few seconds to spin up and increase the rate of fire. Now, does that make sense? Yeah, it does. It's armed with a Gatling cannon. But how about a grenade launcher speeding up its rate of fire over time? Does that make sense? No, not really. Instead, the grenade launcher should have a powerful area of effect, but with a short fuse that can be dodged by the opponent. Intuitive design accelerates the learning curve by making these types of characteristics easier to identify and to remember. Additionally, micro techniques and abilities should be thematic to the faction they belong to, something that Generals does brilliantly. The Chinese faction is all about overwhelming numbers and massive assaults, which is represented by the Battlemaster tank being slow but benefiting from Horde bonus, which grants an increased rate of fire when forming large groups. GLA is designed around mobility and sneaky tactics, so the Scorpion tanks are suited for hit and run tactics when combining their powerful rocket that fires once every 5 seconds with their swiftness that allows them to disengage easily. Lastly, due to USA's advanced technology, their Crusader tanks can unlock various drones to provide support. In summary, RTS games shouldn't consist of just arbitrary rock, paper, scissors matchups. Units should be brought to life and distinguished through detailed visual design, which helps identify and support the unique quirks, micro techniques, and abilities. Micro is what makes units and factions feel different from each other, so it's vital to prevent an RTS game from becoming repetitive and losing player interest. And that'll wrap it up for today's episode of What Makes RTS Games Fun. Stay tuned for next episode where I'll be discussing RNG and how it affects competitive RTS games. Other than that, subscribe to the channel for more shoutcasts. We do various content for Company of Heroes, Command & Conquer 0 Hour, and now other things as well. Like we're now also doing Dawn of War, Rise of Nations. So this is kind of a channel for RTS enthusiasts and fans to get their fix on various RTS games. Thanks.